Hello and welcome to the WTID Podcast. This is the preview show where we get to know a little bit more about our upcoming opponents. Up next, we've got Queen's Park Rangers in what is a huge six-pointer at both sides in the relegation zone. QPR looking to climb out of the bottom three with a win. A win for us could see the gap to safety come down to just 5 points. And with me to tell us all about the Rangers is Ben from the W12 Podcast. Ben, how are you this fine evening?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm better than last night. I was watching us play Plymouth and it was freezing and wet and nothing happened. It was 0-0.
0-0 with a red card as well. Couldn't capitalise on the 10 men, but we'll come on to that in a second. Before we start talking about the manager and past meetings and testing you on how many players you can name that have played for both sides, which I know I sprung upon you before you came on. Last season, finished 20th. Strange season for you. 15 games in, you were top of the league. You won the next one as well. Then from the 22nd of October, you won just 4 games out of the next 29. Obviously, the manager then got sacked, Michael Beale, just before the World Cup break. I mean, what happened last season? It seemed such a tale of two halves, I guess.
Yeah, what a season. If you're talking about a rollercoaster season, it doesn't really get much more than that, really. We were talking about this recently. It's sort of a generational sort of season. It's never happened before in relation to how quickly we went from top to bottom. Everything that happened in the club in the season was just absolutely chaotic, crazy. And even for a club like QPR, where so much has happened to us, in relation to money spent and where we are now and Premier League, and we went League One, League Two. So yeah, last season was up there with one of the most mental seasons I think I've had ever supporting the club. We had a great start. We had Mickey Beale in. We were flying. Everything was rosy. Everything was great. I thought this was the season, because the season before we had Warburton and we were close then. We just needed something different, and we thought that we had that. And then there was a link to Wolves from Mickey Beale. He was going to go to Wolves. They wanted him. And then that's where it all went wrong. From then, we played Coventry 2 days later. We lost, played Birmingham, lost, and we just kept losing. He said he was going to stay and that his place was here and he doesn't going to jump ship, and and everyone was great. The world was great again. And then a week later, Rangers came calling, and then he left within like 2 days. He was linked and gone. And then we just weren't prepared for it, I don't think, and we panicked and we got Neil Critchley, who we thought was quite an easy transition. They play similar football. They grew up together. They were quite close so we thought that it'd be a nice transition. A lot of our players knew him as well, because Beale had brought in a few of his players, and that just didn't work. He won 1 in 11, and we were atrocious. And the club thought it'd be a good idea to bring in Gareth Ainsworth, a bit of a club legend. He was a good football player, to be fair, and he'd done an okay job at Wickham. I think they thought he'd come in and bring us a bit of motivation, a bit of desire, a bit of passion, because we were really lacking that. So I kind of get it, but it was quite quick that the players didn't take to him, and he was fighting a losing battle. We managed to win 3 games out of 21 in the end of the season. We scraped up only because of Reading's points deduction. We stayed up, really. And we had one mad win against Burnley, the only team to beat them last season at their place, and it could have been 10-2. I don't know how we won.
I think, with Ainsworth, just for a second, I think it's always difficult when a manager, obviously he's been at Wickham for, since God was a lad, weren't he? It certainly felt like that. And then to kind of leave there, whenever a manager leaves a job that they've had for so long, to go somewhere else, I think they always struggle, because they're kind of ingrained in that other club, and they've kind of got to start again, something that they've not done for many years. So they always find it difficult. I think that was the same with Ainsworth, weren't it? Really.
Yeah. What he did was he tried to instill an underdog mentality, which obviously worked at Wickham, but it really didn't work with us at all. The fans, he was trying to brainwash the fans into us thinking it was going to be a bad season. We were going to struggle. We were going to lose a lot of games, but we'll be all right. We'll get enough points. And when you're talking about some of the players we've got, because we have got some really good players, and we've got Steve Cook, Jack Colback, Ilias Chair, Lyndon Dykes. These players will feel like they can hold their own in this league easily, and they're being told that we're just not good enough today. I just think he lost the players quite quickly, and he was in charge a lot longer than he should have been. We were after Cifuentes for a while. Well, we couldn't get him because of the Swedish season and when it finished. So it's finished now. Well, I think it was a game before the end of the season when we got him, and he wouldn't leave until the end of the season. So he got extra time that he probably wouldn't have got. And when there's 4 or 5 games and you're losing your job, I mean, we didn't win any of them or play particularly well. The worst thing about Gareth Ainsworth, he didn't have any in-game management, which was frustrating. Look at what we've got now; it's night and day.
Yeah, but you know what? There's so many similarities between QPR and us. To be honest, when you look at it, because under Xisco it was awful. I suppose the only difference being is that Xisco came in the summer and it only lasted 10 games. But anyway, before I talk about Cifuentes, I'll just touch on the past meetings between the two sides. The last time you came to Hillsborough, it ended in a 1-1 draw. Macaulay Bonne scoring deep into injury time to share the spoils.
Yeah, I remember.
That day, Dawson, Palmer, Pato, Bannon and Windass were the players that survived from that game over 3 years ago. They're obviously still in our squad. Monk was in charge for us, Warburton for yourself. Your last win at Hillsborough was 2019, 2-1. Hugel with 2 goals.
Smith? Was it Hugel? Did we not win it? Beat your place at the end of the season, or was that? Remember the last day of the season we won there? We won 2-1. Matt Smith.
That must have been the season before, but 2019, that was your last win, was back in 2019. Hugel.
I remember Hugel, yeah.
Fletcher scored to give us the lead. And the last time we beat you at Hillsborough was 2016, so some 7 years ago. First off, Gary Hooper goal was enough that day for us to win. So yeah, you've beaten us at Hillsborough. More recently than we've beaten yourselves. Right, let's talk about the gaffer then, Cifuentes. You've already mentioned him. Spanish manager, 41 years old. I'll not lie, don't know a great deal about him. Cut his cloth in the Spanish second division before moving, as you've mentioned, to the Scandinavian countries of Sweden and Norway. Not done too bad since he's come in, has he? 3 wins, 3 draws and a defeat in his last 7 since he took over, and seems to have made a real impact.
He's been great, yeah. I mean, it was difficult when we initially were looking for a manager. I think the fan base were kind of, I don't think anyone can sort us out here. We're such a mess, right? But I think that was part of the brainwash, is that we got to think we were so bad that we didn't think anyone could save us. But actually, on reflection and hindsight, it was actually the complete opposite. I think anybody could have done better than what Ainsworth was doing. He alienated a lot of the key players. So Willock, who's great, by the way, he's probably on his day one of the best in the league. He just didn't play him, and Ilias Chair just stuck him out on the wing all game. 4-4-2, like, just never going to get the best out of him. We played Paul Smith, who's a winger, out and out winger, pace at right wing back or right back. It's just, anyway, crazy decisions. But Marty's come in and he's just, we don't. In relation to personnel, we haven't got a big enough squad to change it. But what he's done is he's made us a lot more solid and a much more resilient. We've cut 3 clean sheets in a row. We've conceded 3 goals in the 7 games, something like that. We're defensively much more sound. We do lack a bit of an attacking intent still. We can't, it's difficult because we don't have a lot of options. But we're certainly a better team and squad, and he's got the best out of Ilias Chair and Chris Willock, and who have both goals and assists. I think they're both on 4 since he's been in charge, 4 goals or assists. So, which before that, Willock had 0 and Chair had 1 assist.
Yeah.
So,
what did you think then? So when he was announced, or when it was rumoured that he was going to be manager, what did you think? Because like I said, I don't know much about him. I'm guessing you probably didn't know much about him either.
No, we wanted him in the summer. We got Beale that summer. It was between him and Mickey Beale, and we chose Mickey Beale for whatever reason. So we knew that he was good, and we wanted him again. I believe when he went, but he wouldn't leave Hanneby because they were in Europe that year. He got them into Europe in the Europa League, so he wouldn't leave. And then this year we've wanted him, and we've had to wait an extra few weeks to get him. So yeah, I mean, it's not something that QPR traditionally do, getting a foreign manager. We're very McLaren, Warburton, Ainsworth,
Warnock,
Critchley, very like that type of manager, right? So to do this is something that completely out of the book for us, and I think we were resigned to going down anyway. So what he's done now is rejuvenated the fans and everything. And you're looking at it now, and I look at our team and squad, and I think we've got a real good chance of staying up now this season with him in charge. He's got January as well. We haven't got any loans in the squad, so he's got sort of 5 loans that he can bring in, which I think we'll use. But yeah, we play. We have the ball a lot more. Our possession with Ainsworth, we on our podcast, it was the average was like 30%. It's now 48, so we have much more of the ball. And if you've got the ball, you don't concede, right? Which is what he often, that's what his logic. And he has the 3 Ps, which are like possession and pressing, that type of philosophy.
Yeah. Is that style of play something that's being welcomed then at Loftus Road? Because I was going to ask you kind of how you've been playing, and I suppose you have a question to tag on to that. Do you think that the players are good enough to stay up this season as well?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, we would have taken any win at home, because I don't know if you know that we won 1 game in 28 games at home across last season and this season. We didn't win for 10 games at home this season, and we won 1 in 11 last season, which was versus Watford in March. So, I mean, that is mad, right? 1 in 28 at home. Imagine having to sit through 28 games. It's crazy to think about. So, point being, we would have taken any win. I mean, we were the win came against Stoke, and we were 2-1 down there, 10 men with 10 minutes left, and we ended up winning 4-2. So yeah, I mean, I think if you look at the team, mate, and you look at our back 4, we've got Asmir Begovic in goal. We've got Steve Cook and Clark Salter as our centre backs. Kenneth Powell and Reggie Cannon, who's an American international. That's our back 5. I mean, that's just decent. I mean, we haven't had them all together often enough, but when we do, we tend to win.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've got Colback and Sam Field in front of them as well. So
yeah, you have got a few.
That team goes down.
Yeah, I've got a few internationals, to be fair, as well. When you look at it, Ilias Chair, who I'm going to mention, he's Moroccan, I think he is, and then Lyndon Dykes as well, playing for Scotland. So yeah, quite a few internationals. Right, before I talk about your form and touch on your recent couple of games, let's talk about how many players has played for both sides and how many of them you can name. I'll give you. There's a few. To be fair, not many have played many games for QPR. One of them has played 152 games for QPR, so I'd like to think you'd get that one. There's a couple from the 90s, quite a lot from 2000 to 2010. There is one player that is currently in our squad that has played for yourself as well. So yeah, I think let's have a look. There's about 20, I think, to choose from.
Oh God, I definitely won't get that. I've got in my mind, for whatever reason, Kieran Westwood.
Kieran Westwood did, yes. Came to you for a bit of a end of retirement gig for 6 games, but 193 appearances for Sheffield Wednesday. Fantastic goalkeeper.
We had 4 keepers injured, and it was like a last-minute free. I think he was traded at, I don't know, Crewe or something, and then we got him in. Yeah, you're right. Back end of his career, he wasn't too good, but Kieran Westwood, Trevor Francis,
yes, he played for Sheffield Wednesday, of course, but it was well into early 90s, that one. Hamid, did he play for you? No, he didn't play.
What about Leon Best?
Leon Best did, yes. Played 30 times, only played 5 for yourselves. But yeah, he played. That day, the interview that he's done with Under the Cosh, I don't know if you've heard it, is fantastic. Some of the things that he tells you about is crazy. Go on, any more that you can pick? There's one in your current squad. There is one in your current squad.
There is.
Yes, there is.
There is.
I'll give you a clue. He went to Stoke from us, and then you've signed him from Stoke. And he's in your current squad.
Oh, Morgan Fox.
Morgan Fox, yeah, correct.
Yeah. Oh, he was really good start of this season, and then he got injured, and I don't know when he'll be back. He's decent. Oh, I like.
You've not got the one. 152 appearances for QPR between 2015, 2018. He's a midfielder, and he's currently at Ipswich.
Oh, that's Luongo, of course it is.
Massimo Luongo, yeah, 70 appearances for
God,
Sheffield Wednesday, 152 for yourself for 10 goals
I,
as well.
I don't know about you, but if you'd have told me that he'd be playing in that Ipswich team, top of the league or whatever they're doing, flying, I wouldn't have believed you. But I mean, he had the potential, but he was never consistent enough. But yeah, he's doing great there, isn't he?
It was class for us, but he picked up a bit of a bad injury, came back,
Did
he was
he?
class, but then we released him in the first season, well, like going into the second season in League One, so about 18 months ago now, and yeah, wish we'd not done that. To be fair, in hindsight, right? I'll put, unless you've got any more, I'll put you out your misery.
Nah, no. Go on, mate.
Adam Boulder,
Oh, Boulder. Yeah, good for us.
Jay Bothroyd,
Oh,
absolutely
yeah.
awful for us. Leon Clark.
Yep.
You've got Morgan Fox. The one that's in our squad is Jeff Hendrick.
Oh God, how's he doing?
Awful. Yeah, send him back.
God.
Send him back in
Oh, my
January.
God.
He's on loan from Newcastle, so yeah, let's send him back. Will
He
Keane,
was. Yeah.
Kieran Lee, absolute legend for Sheffield Wednesday. He was at you in 2007. Signed for us in 2012. So yeah, that must have been just after he got released by
United.
Man United. Yeah. You've got Massimo Luongo. Danny Maddox is another one who played for you in 92 to 95. Played for us in as we got relegated into the in what was then Division 1 from the Prem. Moses Odubajo, we absolutely hate him just for his high five that he did against Nottingham Forest when Lewis Graben scored. So yeah, we hate him. Ben Sahar is another one. We had him in 2007.
Was he the Israeli?
He was, yeah. Olamide Shadipo, he was on loan, didn't do anything whatsoever.
Nah.
Next one, absolute legend, American. We had him in 2005 to 2009. You had him for 5 games in 2004. Frankie Simek.
Oh God, yeah.
Absolute legend for us. Mainly because he just replaced Derek Geary, and they were both very, very similar players for us. Another one from the 90s is Andy Sinton.
Yeah,
then there's Jimmy Smith, and then the final one is Kieran Westwood. So yeah, I must admit,
fair enough.
To be fair, so I do these on with most of the guests, and there was only one that had played over 100 games for QPR, and only one other that had played over 50. So pretty tough going there. Right, let's talk about. Let's have a look. Let's talk about the form then. So 3 wins in a row. You mentioned the draw against Plymouth last night. Yeah, the form's picked up somewhat, and it's crazy how a couple of wins when you're at the bottom can really kickstart your season. Because, I suppose before those 3 wins, you might have been thinking that gap to safety is getting bigger and bigger. All of a sudden, you're 1 win away from getting out of it now.
Yeah, and like I said, we looked dead and buried a few weeks ago. But and that's what you can do in this league. If, like you said, a few wins and you're right in there. What we've done is we've brought other teams back into it as well. Your teams that probably weren't even looking at it are now looking down, going, "Oh God, okay, we because people like teams like Huddersfield are going to pick up points, right, here, there, and everywhere, right." So then if you were in a bad run and you're someone like Millwall, even Stoke, even though they won last night, they were right back in it. And these sort of teams will be. There's always one team, isn't there, that just falls right down. So. We just got to stay in touch, really. We need some more strikers or forward, but if we can stay in amongst it up until January, strangely enough, we've got 5 home games in a row. I don't even think that's good. It's because at the start of the season, our pitch wasn't ready.
Yeah.
So we played a couple of away games when we should have had home. So in January we've got all of them. So 5 home games in a row plus a cup game with Bournemouth at home is. It's a bit mad, isn't it? And that will help us because you'd think that we'd probably, hopefully, get some wins in there as well.
What have those performances been like? Because you beat Hull, you beat Preston, and you beat Stoke. Like I said, you drew with Plymouth. The only defeat came to Norwich, who obviously we got beat 3-1 by last time. Have them performances been good?
Well, that Norwich game is probably the best we've played out of all of them, which is just how football works, isn't it? We did not deserve to lose that 1-0. I don't know how we did. We're just a bit more pluckier, and we're a bit, we've had a bit of luck here and there, which Ainsworth didn't get. Couple of penalties, a couple of offsides that were debatable against. Sorry, 4. We played all right, mate. We're a lot more solid.
Yeah.
Ilias Chair and Chris Willock have been much better further up the pitch. And we've got little Paul Smith who's lightning quick. So he's a bit like Dan James, a bit of a poorer version, but in relation to how quick he is, and he can cause some problems away from home on a big pitch, which is what Sheffield you guys have got, haven't you, from memory? So
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
yeah, like you said, it's going to be a 6-pointer. I don't think anyone's going to lose. I guess you guys really got to win, haven't you?
Yeah, when you look at it, that gap, especially playing against you guys who are, just a few places above us, we don't want that gap to go any further. And I know there is other teams that get pulled into it, like you said, but, really, we need to be taking 3 points from you. You've mentioned Ilias Chair. I want to talk about him as a player to watch. 2 goals, 4 assists. He's your highest rated player on Who Scored at the moment. It started 19 games of the 21 this season. Plays in that number 10 role. He's been at the club since 2017, 188 games for QPR and also Moroccan international. Still only 26 as well. He's quite something, isn't it, for you boys?
He's a different animal at the moment, and when he's in form, he's excellent. You can't get the ball off him. You won't get the ball off him. It's just what he does with it. He holds on to it too long. Sometimes he makes the wrong decision. He could be a bit of a glory, if you like, but on the ball, he's fantastic. And if we do anything on Saturday, I'm sure he'll be involved. Like I said, I can't believe no one in the Championship has spent. I don't think we were that 5-6 million. I think would have got him in the summer, and no one came in for him, which I think is crazy. I think that will either change in January or next summer because I can't believe we've still got him. To be honest, he was incredible last sort of a lot of last season. But yeah, he's a really good player.
Go on then, Saturday's game. How do you see it panning out? I mean, you must be high on confidence, the most confident that you've been probably all season. Obviously, it's an away game against another struggling side. You'll probably think the same as us, that you can come here and take all 3 points. But how do you see it panning out on Saturday? Don't give me a score prediction just yet. We'll come to that at the end. But how do you see the game panning out?
Well, look, we are better away from home than we are at home. Even though we've won the last couple, we've done some good results at home. We tend to play and be better away from home. I think I'm not too sure how you're going to play, but we will try and control the ball as much as possible and try and get, like I said, Ilias Chair and Willock in and around the box to try and create something. I always think in these type of games, the team who scores first tends to go on and win, or will certainly have a much better chance. But yeah, you didn't want a score prediction, but I'm the problem is the more confident you are in football in going into a game, the more it's the game. It's the game. Like yesterday, I went to the game thinking we were going to win. We had Plymouth at home, especially when they went down to 10 men. We were definitely going to win this, and we didn't. And that often happens with QPR. So
go on then. Give me a score prediction then, Ben.
I think we'll win 2-0. Sorry.
You don't have to apologise. No, you don't have to come and apologise, mate. I mean, look, that's probably because of the confidence of the recent results. I mean, you're on a 4-game unbeaten run, so yeah, I can see exactly why. And obviously, that getting out of the bottom 3 is that little carrot in it that I'm sure the gaffer will be dangling in front of the players. You can get out of the bottom 3, which probably looked impossible. It certainly looked impossible for us, but you have picked up those couple of wins, right? Before you go then, Ben, where can people listen to you boys reviewing the defeat at the weekend against Sheffield Wednesday?
Yeah, which is more than likely. The W12 Podcast. Everything QPR, ex-players. We had the manager on last week for an interview, which was really good. If interested, we got some. We had Warnock on, Redknapp on recently as well. So some decent podcasts historically to listen to. So yeah, if you're a QPR fan or
great stuff,
just interested.
And will you be talking about Saturday's game?
We do early week, so it'll be Monday, Tuesday, either Wednesday or Thursday. We'll probably be out and about.
Great stuff. Fantastic. Ben, I'm going to let you go. Thank you very much, mate. All the best for the rest of the season. I don't know why I'm saying that when you're down at the bottom with us.
But
yeah, fingers crossed let's say fingers crossed we both survive, and Rotherham get relegated.